Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie Parise, joined by Shorts Guy, and we are happy to get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Seattle Kraken. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The Devils are looking for their 5th win out of 6 games as they take on these Kraken. Shorts Guy, sup?
Sup, Vin? Yeah, five wins out of 6, and you'd think the sky was still falling, I'm sure.
I know.
You know, we got through, and we came out of Vancouver with a win, which was a real stressful win. You know, I was coming home from my own game, and here I'm listening to it on the ride home, and here it is, 30 seconds left. It was like, I don't know, darn near 12:30 at night, and the Devils come up with the victory or whatever time it was. So it was it was a good win. You know, the Hughes Day Hughes Bowl was a spectacle for Devils fans, for Canucks fans, for the league. But we move on to Seattle tonight, and even later start at 10:30. This is an arena I want to get to because I went to Seattle in 2006, and I love the city, and I want to get back there. It will be a lot of fun to see Devils play the Kraken away in Seattle eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to go to Seattle. I've heard it's an amazing town to visit as somebody who doesn't live there. Like if you go there for a vacation, you're always going to have a good time there. From what I've heard, I can't tell you from experience, but you know, it sounds like it's awesome. I definitely want to get up to the Pacific Northwest in the United States and Canada, to be honest with you. I'd love to hit Vancouver and Seattle in the same trip while I'm up there, right? Like that would just kind of be awesome. But you nailed it. You would think this team just is terrible. The way people tweet about them right now and talk about, they're struggling in net. They need to score. Like it's definitely like you could see the problem. Tom Fitzgerald's not a moron. They will address the problem. I firmly believe that. You have Kevin Ball, who's what, 21, 22 on defense.
Yep, young.
You have Simone Nemec, who's 19 on defense.
Yep,
and you have Luke Hughes, who's 19 on defense.
young.
That is okay, in my opinion. This is about having sustained success for these people who like need them to win the Stanley Cup this season, or all hope is lost. I hate to tell you, this is about. I mean, Jack Hughes is 21. Heischer's what, 23, or Hughes is probably 22 now. Heischer's what, 23, 24. I mean, they have like 7 of their 8 most important players are like under 25. This is still very much a developing team, and they were great last year. They were great. You saw in the second round the difference between a team who's been there, done that. You know, the Rangers, they just kind of choked, to be honest with you. The Devils outplayed them in games 3 through 7 for the most part. That game 6 was terrible, but we pretend that doesn't exist. You know, it's okay that they're letting Nemec and Hughes play and make mistakes. And in my opinion, because I think the greater good of the Devils, we will remember this little tough stretch at the beginning of the 23-24 season as necessary. I still think the ceiling of this team is unreal over the next 5 years. And people are acting like the sky is it is not Stanley Cup or bust for the New Jersey Devils. You know who it's Stanley Cup or bust for? The Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars. The Edmonton Oilers. You can argue the New York Rangers. All of their best players are in their 30s. Except for like Lafreniere, Fox, and Shesterkin. They're Kreider's in his 30s, Panarin's in his 30s, Zibanejad. You know, all these guys are on the
in a
older
win now
side.
mentality. Yeah, they're absolutely a win now mentality.
Don't get me wrong, but the Devils are still. I mean, they made a second overall pick 2 drafts ago. So, like, it's just, and the Florida Panthers, another good example. Yes. Stanley Cup or bust, right? Like, I don't know. I see things
last year. Yes. Yeah, no, you're definitely not wrong. You definitely bring up a lot of points. It's this Devils team. I think that we've been as a fan base, we've been starved for so long of the playoffs and of success that we finally had success last year for the first time since 2016, 15, 16 season, something like that.
The one with Taylor Hall was like the one-off year in
Yes,
17,
yes,
18.
the one-off
Yeah.
year. Yeah, that was 17, 18. And then prior to that, it was pretty much 2012. So it's
Yep.
been a long stretch of time. It's been a long stretch of time where we've had no success and we're starved for success. We had a lot of success last year. It's looking like the Devils are punching above their weight quite a bit last year. And you're right. It is good that we have the likes of Hughes, Nemec, and Ball in the starting lineup getting playing time, because really that's where you get your experience on the ice, is when you're playing in games, playing games at the highest level, no less. So they have to play at the AHL all that they want, but they're not going to get NHL level experience at the AHL level. So it is good. We just knew that there were going to be mistakes coming into the season, and it was going to be a struggle for the defense. The goaltenders have to start making some more timely saves, but at the same time, it's not all on them, because the defense is struggling a little bit, and that's going to mean the goaltending is going to struggle a little bit. But we have the scoring. We know damn well we have the scoring, but we even went through this with the scoring. There was, the first couple seasons of Jack and Bratt were not the offensive juggernauts that they became last year. So it's all in due time. This team is built to win multiple cups in the long run. I'll say that now. What is this? December 7th, 2023. The Devils are built right now to win multiple cups in the long run.
I couldn't agree more. It's one of those things. Like when Nemec, Hughes, and Ball are like 26, Hughes, Heischer, Bratt, those guys are like 27, 28, 29. I mean, like, what are people freaking out about? It's not going to be an issue forever. Like, no, Tyler Toffoli's not going to be here forever, and Dougie Hamilton's not going to be here forever. Well, Hamilton's locked in for a long time. And honestly, the first person I thought of when I listened to Gary Bettman speak the other day, and I heard him talk about the salary cap going up by $4.5 million, the first person that crossed into my head was Tyler Toffoli. I'm like, there's Tyler Toffoli's contract for next year. Give him 3.5 for 3 years or whatever it is. I'm getting word that we are going to be sending it out right now to
live
Brennan Werner. Brennan Werner is at the Seattle Kraken Arena, the Climate Pledge Arena, where the New Jersey Devils are going to be playing right now. Are we ready for that?
Oh,
he dropped.
Sam just said
he dropped.
Yep, Sam just said some technical difficulty. Hey, here we go.
There he is.
Hey, we got what up, Brennan?
Brennan. I don't know if Brennan can hear us, but he's clearly at Climate. We can't hear you.
Yep. Yeah, Sammy's got to do something with the sound here. But no, we're trying. We're trying. Sammy will figure this out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
but
Sammy
for now we just got us. But hey, Climate Pledge Arena looks sick, eh?
It does. It does look really cool. It's a place I want to get to. It's it should be a good game tonight for the New Jersey Devils, and I'm going to try to watch some of it. These are one of those games where on the West Coast you can kind of turn it on late, lay in bed, watch the game, and you fall asleep. Because here on the East Coast we all have work tomorrow morning early, and it's going to be a short night of sleep. For you, it's a little easier. It's a 9:30 start. Tad bit easier, but still a little, still late. So, but I just want to see the New Jersey Devils win again. That would be 6 out of 7 games, and then go into the rest of the week with some momentum. And it's Calgary and Edmonton. So for that Western Canada swing, going out to the plains of Canada.
Now, is American whiskey packed right now? Are they having people there to watch the game even though it's really, really late on a weekday?
Probably not. No, these games are tough. These late night games for doing watch parties for anything are really tough, especially with it being on a Thursday. It's just hard. It's not for nothing. It's also cold, and it gets really cold out by you in Chicagoland. So when it gets cold in December, it's like, who really wants to leave the house? Not that we wouldn't want to have a party in American whiskey, because when you're there, you can have some Ann Crew brew.
Absolutely. It's 48 degrees right now where I'm at in Chicagoland. I'm in a suburb about 25, 30 minutes out. It's 48 degrees. That's like freaking sunbathing weather compared to like what
Oh
it's
yeah.
been the last week. So, and we're gonna have a real heat spike. We're getting into the 50s this week. Get your bathing suits out,
Oh
people.
man. Yeah,
But yeah, it sounds
we're gonna.
fun. Like, go ahead.
No. I was saying we're gonna get similar weather here on the East Coast in the 50s, potentially 60s. So sunbathing weather,
Love
except it's
that.
gonna rain like anything.
Yeah.
And
Very good. Do you think the Central Time Zone's the best for sports? Because I'm not bragging. I think the Midwest, it has its pros and cons, as does the East Coast, as does the West Coast.
Mhm.
I think the best sports watching time zone is probably um, the Central Time Zone.
Yeah, Central's got a leg up on some things because a 7:30 start here is a 6:30 start to you.
Yep.
The 7:30 starts out west are 9:30, like we were talking about. And like I feel for someone like Scotty. Like this is like a perfect time for him on these West Coast games, but then Scotty has to watch like a 7 o'clock start here. It's 4 o'clock there. Like NFL games on the 1 o'clock NFL games. For the East Coast are what 11 o'clock starts.
I
No,
think
10 o'clock.
I think
10 a.m.
I think they're 10 on the West Coast,
It's
which means like
very
Sunday
much,
night football starts at like 5.
which is great if you want to watch Sunday Night Football, but it's very much akin on the East Coast to watching EPL games or any other European soccer
Yeah.
match. Like
Mhm.
you get up at 7:30, you turn on the TV, and you crack your first beer of the day while you watch your team play. Like
Yep.
really not a bad way to start a Saturday, if you ask me. But you can't do it. But at that point, if you have too
Absolutely.
many, you're shot by noon.
Yeah, that's true. I like a noon kickoff. Is Brendan here? Do we have Brendan available?
I think we might
I'm
have Brendan back.
trying to. It sounded like
I
we
heard
had him.
something. Yeah, I heard that
Yeah,
too. I
me
heard
too.
that too. This
It
is what
doesn't look like we have Brendan available.
this is what we do on Game Day Live in the Let's Go Devils podcast and Devils After Dark. We bring in our fans live from wherever they might be, which we did with you last year, Vin. We tried
And
to do it
this
this
year.
year. I can't remember. Yeah, and this year. That's right.
Yeah, I ended up getting in. I was having some trouble
Yeah.
early this year in the warm-ups, but I finally found a way in.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You did find a way in. So yeah, that's just what we do on this podcast. We're bringing the fans into the shows, which is great.
Absolutely. There's not really much cooler than like going down in the lower bowl, whether your seats are down there or not. You could go watch warm-ups from right on the glass, and it's really, really cool. You kind of get an appreciation for like, how big a lot of these guys are for the most part, and how fast they are, and how actually you see some pure skill during the warm-ups too, when they're like dangling around or like playing with it on their stick, bopping it up in the air. So
Yep.
it's a good time. I'd love to get out to
And
Seattle now. It's going to be. Go ahead.
I will say this: when you're down there for warm-ups low and you're behind the net, I love seeing people duck when the puck hits the glass. It's
Dude, it's not
hysterical.
going to hit you.
It's hysterical to me.
That's funny. It hasn't been a person who ever got hit by that ever since they put the nets up. I don't think. So you really don't got to do that. But I understand it's a natural
No.
human reaction.
Yeah.
Now we have video from Brennan coming in.
All right.
Who is at Climate Pledge Arena getting ready? I think the Devils are probably going to come out in 13 minutes or so, where they will come out for
probably
warm-ups.
soon. Yeah, those look like
So
that. That
that
looks
should
like a
be
real
fun.
good view. That looks like a really
Yeah.
good view. Of
Have you
Climate
been
Pledge.
to one of these brand new state-of-the-art stadiums?
I was there for our stadium on opening night, and other than that, like brand new, I've been to a couple brand new soccer stadiums. But
Nice.
as far as the NHL stadiums, nice, the red and green jersey, love it. As far as the brand new NHL stadiums, I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have.
Like I love The Rock. I think it's great. They have the new scoreboard. It's one of the nicest scoreboards in the NHL. It definitely there's a generational gap between that and like the newer ones that have come out within the last 5 to 10 years, like Vegas and Seattle. Those buildings just have a little bit extra. I went to Atlanta's the Falcon Stadium, and
I've been
was
there.
wildly different.
I went
Mercedes-Benz
there
Stadium.
twice
That's
for soccer.
unlike.
I went
Yeah,
there.
you
twice
see
for
Atlanta
soccer.
United.
Yeah, it was a melee leaving the one time. It was a good time.
I'm sure. I was there for the SEC championship 4 years ago today, which is kind of funny. And it's like unlike any other NFL stadium that is older. Like I'm sure Vegas is like that, SoFi in Los Angeles. There's just something about these newer buildings that, have like a different feel to them. And Seattle looks, based on Brennan's video here, that they
It
got
looks so
that going
cool.
on. So
And
Max
I think
wants to know
don't you-
who's your EPL team.
yeah, I know. Sammy just sent that. Max, I'm a Liverpool supporter. So I'm wondering who you support, Max. If it's not
Boo!
Liverpool,
Ew!
who do you like?
Boo!
Vin, who do you like?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I just whatever you could have said. You could have said Liverpool, and I would have been like, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Liverpool supporter, and the goal is to get over to Liverpool at some point in the next
Hell
coming
yeah!
months. Yeah, it'll
Actually, I
be
do have a favorite Premier League team. My
who's
favorite
that?
Premier League team is FC Richmond.
Oh God. You would
Did it take you a
pick them.
minute?
No, it kind of it took me a split second to be like, oh, he's talking about Ted Lasso.
I have the full jumpsuit. I was Ted Lasso for Halloween this year. It's like one of my favorite
Well
shows of
done.
all time. Yeah, I
Well
had the
done.
full jumpsuit. I got the pants, the hat, the shirt, or it's like a pullover sweatshirt.
Yep.
I'm gonna wear it one day to a soccer game, I think.
Well, yeah, you're
Maybe
gonna
I'll go
have
see the
to.
Chicago Fire.
You know, that's one stadium, or that's one away trip I have not done in Chicago, and that's a close one. I mean, I've done a
Yeah.
whole host of others. I've done Nashville, I've done Orlando, I've done Colorado. I can go on and on, but Chicago is one I haven't done. I even took a
So
bus to
are you a Red
Columbus.
Bull fan?
So, yes, yeah,
Okay,
that's my local team. That is my team.
I would identify as a Red Bull fan too, over the Fire,
Nice.
and I'll tell you
As
why.
you should.
Well,
Why
so
is that?
I root for every Chicago team except hockey. I root for the Devils, obviously. That's why
Mhm.
I'm here. But I one time it was on TV randomly, and it was Steve Cangelosi calling the game.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
I've seen him a
"Oh,
bunch
there's
of times.
Kanji. He's calling the and I still think that's why he left the Devils, was to like just focus on doing the soccer. And I'm like, oh, I'm a Red Bulls fan, die hard. And they followed me back on Twitter when I tweeted about it. And yeah, so if the Fire, I'll root for the Fire, but when they're playing the Red Bulls, no, let's go Red Bulls.
Perfect.
So back to the Devils. People come to here to talk
Yep.
about the Devils. They just got plenty of Premier League and MLS soccer talk. But you know what? People in the chat are interested. We're going to answer the questions. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited for this game. They've won 4 out of 5, and it doesn't feel like it for a lot of people. But I do think overall, outside of the goaltending and maybe a little bit of shaky defense here and there, with Nico Hischier in the lineup, they have this insanely awesome record. And, I'm interested to see, like, who you looking forward to step up in this game against the Kraken? Like, what's kind of on your mind here?
Well, I'm curious to see who's going to play in net, and I
Schmidt.
have the Schmid's in net because I got the little alert on my fantasy lineup that he was starting, and I would like to see a complete team effort tonight, and I would like to see Jack continue to score. I'd like to see Simone Nemec start to continue, or not start, but continue to build on what he's been doing. And to really kind of bring himself into the fold. And I will say this: it was great to have Eric Holla back. I want to see him continue doing that from the last game. Instant impact with him coming back into the lineup. So, keep that up. Those are kind of my guys that I'm looking for, and I'm sure I'm missing something. But what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, let's see if can Brendan hear us. We're being told he might be able to hear us.
Awesome.
Brendan, can you hear us? We hear a lot of audio coming from Brennan,
We do
but I don't hear any talking. I saw on one of those TVs that it looked like there's a Santa Claus band. You see that on the TV right there? Like, is that Santa Claus playing the drums?
I see that.
Santa Claus Barker, Santa Claus Lee Jones. Like, what are we doing here, Santa Claus? Holy crap.
Man.
Santa Claus Keith Moon Claus. What are we doing?
Oh,
Got Santa Claus and the Skids. Love to see that. Well, we're kind of unable to hear him. We hear a lot of background noise, which is really cool. And seeing the
yeah.
band play and all these Kraken fans, I love that hockey's in Seattle now. I want as many
Hmm.
people in the world to like hockey as possible. But I encourage each and every person right now, go to the YouTube chat, put in your predictions for tonight's game. I want to hear every single person out there give me a prediction for what they think is going to happen. The Devils, they haven't played the Kraken too much. This will only be their
No.
5th meeting ever. And I'm very much looking forward to it. I will say the first ever meeting between the Kraken and the Devils, it did not go well. Our good friend Jack Hughes did get hurt in that game. I remember it very
Hmm.
vividly. He needs to be aware of that, and I don't know if that's like a thing that happens to. It would be in my mind if I was playing. I know that for a fact. Like if that happened, but I mean, hey, we need Jack Hughes out there, and like you said, Eric Halla. I thought
Hmm.
he was very impactful in his first game. So Jack Hughes clearly loves playing with him. But yeah, what's your prediction?
Uh, so prediction for tonight's score. Let's go 6-4. As much as I want to see some goaltending, it's 6-4. We'll go with 6-4.
6-4. That's crazy. I agree, though.
Well, it's crazy times.
I don't know.
It's crazy times right now.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Like when I say it's crazy, it's like it's crazy that you say that, but that's more likely than like 3-2. I would say, just
Yeah,
with the way
especially
the
the last
Devils
games.
have. Yeah, and the Devils, they score a lot. They have offensive. Their top 9 is as good as it's ever.
Hmm.
I would take their top 9 right now over the Cup teams. I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly think that's not crazy. Like what line is better? The line with Timo Meyer, Dawson Mercer, or Alexander Holtz, or like the the line that had like Randy McKay on it in the early
Oh,
2000s. Like you could
crash the
for that
crash line.
the crash line. I guess that
Oh,
line was like impactful in the playoffs and stuff like that. They play. It was a
yeah.
different style of game. This line definitely has more pure skill, high end offensive
Oh,
ability,
big time. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's hard to rip on the crash line. They freaking impacted a game like nobody's business. But I guess
Yeah,
that
the
was kind of a
crash
bad comparison. But
the crash line was an impact line physically. It wasn't an impact line scoring, but Randy McKay could pop goals home. That's the
yeah,
thing, and it was, and then Bobby Holik was a good scorer as well. The
he
the
sure
least
was.
offensively skilled on that line was Mike Peluso, but it didn't matter. Mike Peluso had a role, and Mike Peluso filled that role awesomely. If that's even a word, I don't know if it is or not. But either way,
Who cares?
whatever. But that line was almost like the iconic line of that Stanley Cup championship in '95 was that line, and I have it somewhere around the house. I have a picture, an autographed picture from Mike Peluso, somewhere around the house
That's
here.
awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome. I love that Brennan just giving us this live shot here as we,
so
kind of
cool.
go through our
This is
predictions. It's really cool.
this is what the Let's Go Devils podcast does. We bring in
Yeah,
things like this. We are ahead of the game. This is great.
absolutely. Joseph says 5-3 Devils. Steve Engel says 5-3. He agrees with Joseph. Steve Engel, you picked Vancouver last game. You should be banned.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't forget, but you know what? We love you, Steve Engel. So keep commenting, keep watching. We love you. I'm just totally joking. You had every right to be worried. I mean, after that Sharks game, it was a disaster. But Sharks freaking win again. They were losing 4-0, and they came back and beat the Detroit Red Wings 6-5 in overtime. I've never seen that's 2 games in a row. They were losing 4-1 to the Islanders, came back, won. They were losing 4-0 to the Wings today. Patrick Kane's debut. They go up 4-0. They're singing "Shout," going crazy in Detroit. It's a party. Sharks 6-5 in overtime. Just absolutely banana lands.
And a team that
Shout out Joey Parise.
could not score more than a goal away from home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true. Because the Devils were the first team to give up 2 on the road to them, or 2. The Devils were the home team. The first time the Sharks scored more than 1 on the road was against the Devils.
Yeah, against the Devils.
Shout out
They've done
Joey
it-
Parise.
They've done
He
it
said,
4 games in a row.
yes, insane. My brother sent me a screenshot. He bet the Sharks when they were down 4-0. What a freaking play! What a play!
Wow, what
Holy
a play!
crap.
What were the odds on that? What were they at?
He had it parlayed with the Leafs winning money line. He won that. Yep. It looked like it was total plus 828.
Wow. And probably
He,
plus 700 was the Sharks.
yeah, literally. All I see is his payout. He put in 10 and won it like close to 100. Yeah, that's not a bad bet. So maybe it
Not
wasn't
that
when
bad
they were
at all.
down 4-0. It couldn't have been 4-0. The odds would have been way worse. But he definitely bet them when they were down for them to be plus 220. Yeah,
Either
I don't
way,
know.
yeah. He
That's good
bet on them
stuff.
when they were down. Yeah, he bet on them when they
Yeah,
were down. So smart move, though. I mean, but that's one of those moves you make when you bet. It's like in retrospect, you're like, yeah, that was a smart move. When it
yeah.
really was probably just like, well, I'll just throw 10 here and whatever. I just spent $10.
Yeah. And you know what? Like they came back last game against the Islanders. Like it's kind of in their blood
Mhm.
right now. But anyway, back to predictions. Felix says 6-4 Devils. Selecta says 5-3 Devils. James says 5-4 Devils. Ramona Rice says 5-1 Devils. Shane says 5-2 Devils. Jack with 3 points again. And Joseph says hopefully Caps lose this game too. Yeah, I hope the Washington Capitals
That would
lose
be
too.
nice.
Even
That
though
would be nice.
I used to not root against Metropolitan teams because the Devils stunk, which is really funny. Now I'm actively rooting against Metro teams, but it's 3-3 in the third between the Sharks and the Caps. It was 2-3 last time I looked, but Mason Marchment has tied it for Dallas. So we'll see how that game goes. Looking forward to seeing how it ends, and I'm very, very thrilled to have had everybody here watching the game today. I'm going to give my
Absolutely.
prediction. I believe the Devils are going to win this game by a final score of 6-3. I do think Schmidt will
Ooh.
probably give up a couple goals, to the Kraken. They got some good players. They're struggling. Like, think of what the Devils have gone through. The Kraken are like
Mhm.
that times 10, and they're not even close to being done with the rebuild like the Devils are. The
Oh, yeah.
Devils aren't completely done with the rebuild. I don't care how last year went. They won a playoff series. It was awesome. Best season in history in terms of points and wins. But, there's still a lot of development left to go. The Kraken are like 3 years behind them. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see how the Devils play against them. It actually looks like they're coming out for warm-ups right now as we speak, which is really, really cool.
Hey,
From
there we
Brendan
are.
W. iPhone. Really, really cool. That's awesome. Love seeing the boys skate around. And Sam Wu predicts 8-6 Devils.
Jeez. Sam Wu.
That's a
Sam Wu prediction.
realistic. It's not a realistic prediction, but it's not an unrealistic prediction either. If that makes any little bit of
No.
sense whatsoever.
It makes 100% sense. Yeah, it's kind of odd that a Samu prediction is now becoming an actual obtainable prediction.
I know. Oh, like the Devils, they're capable of scoring hella goals, and they're also capable of giving up hella goals. Sam wants us
Yeah.
to make sure we note that Max says 4-3 as well. So
Yes.
Max
Yes.
predicting
4-3 with
4-3.
Max. That's a
Yep.
good prediction, Max.
So very, very good. Outstanding show. I love when we kind of go on little tangents in addition to talking about the
Oh,
Devils,
absolutely.
make it a little extra entertaining, a lot of fun. I'm going to pick a Premier League team because every time I hear other people talk about it, I get FOMO, and I love sports so much that like I would love to have a Saturday thing to watch in the morning when I first wake up. Like everybody else is just kind of like chilling. I'm sitting there with nothing to watch. I would love nothing more than to have a Premier League team to like get nice. I feel like it's in my. I got to pick someone who stinks because I'm only allowed to root for bad teams.
Well,
But
well. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. With that mindset. I don't want to call it mindset. With that strategy of selecting a team, your team could very quickly, if you pick a team that stinks, can very quickly not be in the EPL anymore. So
that's true. That's right. There's
there's a
relegation.
little bit. Yeah, look at that. I love the view. Thanks, Brendan. Love the view.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good.
I am going to wholeheartedly suggest that you become a Liverpool supporter because it's a team that stresses you out and also has a ton of heritage and a ton of history. So that would be my suggestion. It's kind of more of like a working class team as well. Well, I guess you can call it that. It's
Do they have a
definitely
chance
worth.
to win the Premier League title?
Absolutely, they do this year.
Okay.
They have
Well,
a
I
chance to win the
definitely.
Premier League. They have a chance to win Europa Cup as well. So they have a
Oh,
chance to win at least two trophies.
okay. Look at all
Yeah,
these close-ups. Love to see
I
it.
love it. I love this. This is great. Oh man, I
Very
just
good.
love watching warm-ups. The sound of all of those shots hitting the net and the glass behind. There's just nothing like it, And then me also as like a goalie nerd, I focus so much on watching what the goalies do when they're in net and they're warming up, and like all the small little intricacies that they do. Like I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like sometimes you pick up on those small things, like back in the mid to late '90s. When Johnny Mac was still on the team, Johnny Mac was always the player that dug all the pucks out of the net. And I don't know why that sticks with me like it does. But when you were watching warm-ups and the Devils were out there, Johnny Mac was the guy that when everyone was done shooting and they were switching up drills, Johnny Mac was in the front of the net, digging the pucks out and pass them out to the guys at the blue line to start the next drill. It's just small little things like that. It's just so much fun to watch in warm-ups.
Yeah, you like sit there and you wonder like, why is it your job? But then it's his job. So that's really, really
Mhm.
cool. Thank you to Brennan W for bringing us in on the Ann Crew Brew, live looking from Seattle. Speaking of Ann Crew Brew, make sure you drink Ann Crew Brew. Join our crew today and drink Ann Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together. One crew at a time. Ann Crew Brew. Brandon W from the Ann Crew Brew Cam. We can't thank everybody enough for watching on Twitter Live, X Live, YouTube, whatever it's called these days. Love seeing you. Love hearing you. Thank you again. Love it. Brennan, great job. Shorts guy, great job.
Thank
Sam
you,
Wu,
Brandon.
great job. Let's
Good job to you,
go.
Vin.
Good job to me. Well, I'll say it. Fine.
Good job to Vin.
Fine. Absolutely. It was a great job by me. And we did a good job on this podcast today. And
We
like
did.
I like to quote my good friend Sam Wu every single time we end the show, as always, let's go Devils.